Podnutz Daily is brought to you by the official Podnutz Laptop Video Repair Collection. Over 10 hours of HD downloadable video. If you want to learn how to fix laptops, this is the way to do it. I just reduced the price $54.95, and you can get that at laptoprepairvideos.com. Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 206. I'm here with Door to Door Geek, who's actually on a real call now. He's not just calling to leave voicemails. What's going on, Steve?
Same exact stuff. I don't have to worry about crashing into a pole now, so that's always a plus.
It always sounds like you're doing some daring event or you're in the middle of traffic, like playing like Frogger or something when you're calling in.
Oh, it is. I'm always on Route 95, which anybody on the East Coast knows is a tumor. Driving home, listening to podcasts, and because I listen to podcasts, I really don't stress over traffic, but I have to do other things or else I get extremely stressed out about.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're not quite up to I-76, which is in my state, but you're on your way.
I was there when I went to that Podnutz party, I believe,
man.
and I cannot see how anybody can have sanity when there's any traffic on that road at all.
No, you can't. You can't. It's like it was like a main reason why I didn't want to have I didn't want to commute for a job. I wanted to work at home. Was right. I-76, but yeah, it's a terrible road. But what was I going to ask you? Oh, yeah, my favorite call you did. You were feeding your kid, and at the end of the call, all you hear in the background is, "You want a waffle?"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my kid loves waffles, and my wife forwarded me an article from the New York Times where Eggo had a problem with their flour, and they're going to be a Eggo shortage here for the next couple weeks.
Is that what it was, their flour? I heard they ran out of wrappers or something.
Well, no, it was something. They had silos of, I believe, flour, and a bacteria or a fungus infected it and ruined the whole thing. Wow. So we immediately went to BJ's Wholesale Club and bought like 2 cases of waffles.
Good idea.
Because, I mean, I hate to admit it, but they're just so convenient.
Waffles?
You know, yeah, because they can hold it. It's hard to make a mess.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, waffles are good. This week in waffles.
Exactly.
Hey, no, the one I was thinking about was Klondike Bar. They ran out of wrappers, so they wrapped everything in white paper or white. You know how the Klondike Bar's got that nice silver wrapper?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They ran out of wrappers, so they wrapped everything in white bags. All right, enough about food.
Okay.
Let's get into some tech stuff here. You got a big list of notes. We're using Google Wave here, guys, by the way. So if Steve makes any edits in his notes, I could see it in real time. And this is the first time I've used Wave. It seems pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's still really early on, so what it's good at, we still don't know. I mean, right now, it's really nothing more than a fancy, pretty forum/chat interface.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, it should get better.
Yeah, we'll see what they add to it, but it's good for what we're doing right now.
Yeah, but the list is kind of misdeceiving because half of it really pertains to just one thing.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't you let it rip and just go down the notes here and give us some computer repair tips and whatnot.
Sure. I mean, and we haven't talked for I'd say a month or two, and I gotta say, I was preaching Sandbox IE pretty heavily on the last time I was on, and I gotta say, the honeymoon isn't over. It really does seem like it's only getting better. I've had at least 12 to 13 cleanups, some of them, of course, by the same people, because these are the same people that always get bit. And they call up and say, I'm infected. Pop-ups won't stop. This won't stop. That won't stop. AVG's popping up. Microsoft security is popping up. And every time I know, this is not going to be a stressful cleanup. This is not going to be a timely cleanup. I just remote into the computer, right-click on the Sandbox IE icon, go to default box and say delete contents, and it lists files that you can save. So I always first look through there, see if I see anything that looks relevant or important, but 99.999% of the stuff they can download, they can re-download.
Right.
So 90% of the time, it's just delete everything in that box, close that, wait a couple seconds for it to clean out, start up IE or Firefox or Outlook, and there's no more infection.
So the only thing you're running in Sandbox IE is the browser, right? A browser.
Well, for each user, it's a little bit different. One user wants IE, cannot live without IE, so I give them IE. Users that are more flexible, they use Firefox. I have a couple people using Outlook in it also.
Why do you run Outlook in the sandbox?
Well, because the Outlook and Outlook Express default way to display email is actually using the IE engine. So you know how you can go to a web page and get a pop-up for Antivirus Pro or Total Security. Technically, you can get the same thing in email, and you can get bit just as easy in email.
I gotcha.
And if they click the links in the email, I don't want it to open a unguarded browser.
Yeah, but now what happens though if the sandbox gets infected because of an email? What, are you going to wipe out their whole Outlook now?
Well, what I do in Outlook is I take the archive PST file and I what they call it recover, I believe, recover it from the sandbox to the real world. And as soon as I do, I run scans on it.
Okay, good idea. That's a great tip. Tip. So it's easy for you to do cleanups now. You just log in, you go into the sandbox, you delete the sandbox, and you put a new browser in, and everybody's all happy, right?
Yeah, and my paranoid pace of scans I don't have to do. I don't have to do 80 scans. I mean, and the only bad part about it is still it will never work in 64-bit OS. So, and honestly, I'm the guy that keeps saying 99.99% of the people out there do not need 64-bit OSs.
Right.
So every customer I deal with, I insist they get 32-bit.
Okay.
And it works in 32-bit, so we're both happy.
Well, I mean, but that's cool, but also it's not going to be your choice sometimes. That's the operating system they're going to get.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But the Sandbox IE will never be 64-bit?
What the author said was Microsoft will not let his application hook into the kernel because of PatchGuard now.
Okay.
He said there are malicious ways that he can do it, but it kind of defeats the purpose if he maliciously attaches to the kernel, and then next Patch Tuesday there's a fix, and now it doesn't work anymore.
Sure, yeah, it would drive him crazy.
Yeah, so I think he chooses sanity over money.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but I mean, I think what's going to come next with computers being so powerful is more people running VMs, isolated virtual machines where they can have their kids do their play.
I guess so, but man, every experience I've had with VMs, they're just not up to par with me. They run